It is really a great pleasure to introduce someone who, when I was putting this symposium together, it was like the first thing that popped in my head is that Aaliyah should get to tell her story. I met Aaliyah in the fall of 2021, last fall, and it was a amazing opportunity to hear from somebody right away that they'd already been through a lot getting to the point of diagnosis and has been on a journey that I'm going to let her tell you about. I'll just boast that she had been accepted as a full scholarship to Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh, and delayed that 1 year. But she's now here today to tell her story. And with that, I would like to welcome Aaliyah to the podium. Okay. Oops. Ah. You look great.
Thank you. Are the slides going to appear?
Slides are here, forward, backwards. Okay.
Good morning, everyone. How's everyone doing today? Good. Well, as Dr. Tereski said, my name is Aaliyah Beckles, and it is an honor to be sharing my story with you all. I would like to thank Ms. Tasha and CCF for this platform. So, where do I begin with my story? My story actually begins in elementary school. After participating in the St. Jude fundraisers, I realized that I wanted to become a pediatric oncologist and find a cure for cancer. So when I was diagnosed with cancer, this was my reaction. I was shocked, like this cat, to say the least. But there are a couple silver linings from this. Firstly, this will make a really good essay for medical school. Secondly, I would already have my shadowing hours down. But most importantly, I'll be able to better care for and support the patients I'm going to see in the future. On October 4th, 2021, I was diagnosed with metastatic rhabdomyosarcoma, which originated in the jaw. I had no idea that someone could get cancer in the jaw, but here I am. It took 18 months and 8 different doctors for me to find out my diagnosis. In hindsight, the signs were there, but no one made the connection to cancer. This showed me that more education needs to be done on cancer and its various symptoms, especially for rare cancers like rhabdomyosarcoma. If I can be honest with you all, those 18 months were the hardest moments in my life. At the time of seeking treatment for temporomandibular joint dysfunction, also known as TMJ, I was a senior in high school. Preparing for the future. I did all that I was told to do. I spent 2 to 3 hours a day doing jaw exercises. I had multiple procedures and surgeries, all hoping that it would relieve me of my symptoms. It did not, and things got much worse. I eventually couldn't sleep at night due to pain. I couldn't eat most foods because my jaw opening was this wide. Foods with even a little drop of sugar would cause painful spasms and headaches that would last for hours. All of this happening while trying to graduate and determine my path for the next 4 years. After nothing worked, I started to feel hopeless. I began to dread one of the most exciting moments of my life, college. Many nights I would be up at 4 a.m. sitting on the bathroom floor, panicking because I did not know how I was going to survive being away from home. Many nights I wondered how I could keep living with all this pain, discomfort, and limitations. When I got to college, it was really rough. I had to depend on my roommate to pick up stuff for me because of my intense back pain. I couldn't eat most of what was in the cafeteria, so I was often hungry. There were times when I had to leave events super early because I was in so much pain. It was even hard to walk around campus with my backpack, and in college, walking is like 50% of what you do. It was difficult seeing my independence slowly dwindle because of everything that was going on in my body. But I'm so thankful for my extended family, my sister, my mom, and dad. Many nights when I could not sleep due to pain, my mother would always stay with me. Even while I was in college, my parents and sister would always wake up to answer my calls at 2 a.m. Most importantly, I'm grateful to God for his divine timing and intervention. It was my faith in him that held me together. It was honestly interesting to me how my cancer was found. So, in September of 2021, my mom joined this meeting to talk about the joint replacement surgery I was going to have in December. Just to give you all some background information, the 3D images were made through a clay impression since the 3D scanner couldn't fit in my mouth due to the limited opening. While looking at the scans, one of the technicians asked if I had a tumor on my face. That was quickly dismissed, but my mother, who heard that, sent an email afterwards asking if the surgeon could look into it. Trying to turn the page. Then I came home from school and quickly got some scans. I found out that there is indeed a tumor on my face, but they did not know the type of cancer. Someone recommended Dr. Tereski and his team at Georgetown, so my parents and I met with him right away, and he had things moving like this. I had a biopsy, received my diagnosis a couple days later, and then began chemotherapy the next day. As much as I don't like the side effects of the VAC regimen and radiation, I'm so grateful for their development. Even though I'm still not done with treatment, I feel a lot better now than how I was prior to treatment. My quality of life is so much better. I can eat glazed donuts without having painful headaches and spasms. I can sleep for 8 to 10 hours without interruptions. But even with those treatments working, it's hard not to feel anxious about my situation. For me, with going through the delayed diagnosis, the various symptoms of cancer, and side effects of treatment, every single ache and pain honestly sends a rush of panic through my body. I would say that this is an accurate visual of what happens in my brain. As you can see, my mind just likes to jump to conclusions, and a whole bunch of questions just run through my mind. Like, what if the cancer has become resistant to the treatment and is now growing back? Or what if a new tumor is developing somewhere else because of the chemo and radiation? My mind is constantly in survival mode because I'm so worried that I'm going to miss something. But I'm so grateful for Dr. Tereski, Jennifer, and the rest of the team at Georgetown for the reassurance and care that they have been giving me. They always find ways to talk to me about things beside my diagnosis and make me feel like more than just a cancer patient. We talk about books, John Coltrane, and various Netflix shows. I also get to make art and try out different art techniques, like I'm an art student in class, which is very therapeutic for me. As a young adult with cancer, it is hard being isolated from people my age, and all of these examples provide me with the additional care I need. Before I close, I just want to share one last thing. As I mentioned before, I've always had an interest in cancer research, so I've heard a lot about advancements such as CAR-T and other targeted therapies. I remember being at my first oncology appointment and learning that there are only a little bit of approved targeted therapies available for sarcoma, and that the chemo protocol for my cancer is from the 90s. I remember being so shocked and a bit worried. But being here today and hearing the presentations on the way scientists are researching and developing targeted therapies to better combat rare cancers like rhabdomyosarcoma, it really eases my mind. So to the doctors, researchers, nurses, and other medical providers here today, please continue to do what you're doing and more so we can get closer to eliminating the threat of cancer in our society. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for me?
Anybody? Brigitte, I think over there. Dr. Wiedemann.
Thank you so much. And I actually don't have a question, but I just want to thank you for coming here with your family and, for sharing your story with us and thanking you for the inspiration this gives to all of us. And thank you for telling us what we need to do. I think we're all here and work together for just this reason, to really advance better therapies. And hearing from you is something we'll carry with us. And it's really an inspiration. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you for listening.
So I just wonder, I know that you've had a number of the side effects as you've gone along, and are there particular things that you found helpful to mitigate those effects of therapy to help you just feel better?
Definitely. So at Georgetown, we have an integrative medicine program, and I think acupuncture is a part of it. Yeah. So the acupuncturist comes, and she puts these beads, and they help with the nausea and the neuropathy that I may have from like the vincristine and like the cyclophosphamide and the rest of the treatment. So that's been really helpful. And then of course just taking like regular medication like Zofran and Ativan, that's been really helpful with like coping with nausea and then other pain that I may have.
Other questions, comments? Yeah, Tasha over there.
I don't even know if I need the microphone.
Well, because then it'll be on the, yeah, people out in TV land will hear you.
An incredible inspiration to meet you after communicating with you by email and text for so long. So thank you for being here and sharing your story. Tell us, if you wouldn't mind, a little bit about your plans to return to college, since I know this has been, an interruption is an understatement. And then after that, you talked a bit about when you were much younger, about your dreams for medical school. So if you've given that thought.
Yeah, so definitely this experience is a confirmation that I do want to become a doctor. So, once I'm done with the rest of my treatment, I plan on going back to Pittsburgh in the fall. And I plan on majoring in molecular biology because I'm interested in like genomics and, precision medicine. So I think that would best help me with that. And then I'll do my 4 years, try to do different internships and shadowing opportunities that Pitt may have, and then eventually go to medical school, and then complete the rest of that, and then residency and all that, and all those things. So, yeah. Alrighty.
Hold on one sec. I also just want to say that I've never had a patient ask so many detailed questions about molecular pathways before Aaliyah, and it was, I know we had many, many discussions that went on for a very long time, discussing pathways, explaining receptors and cytokines, and that has been a real pleasure, and your curiosity there has been something that has just been a joy to work with, and every one of those minutes I cherish. So thank you very much for coming in and talking today.
No problem. Thank you all for listening.